Happy Madaraka Day! Wametupa mchoro wa neno Madaraka. Tuwape makofi.
Bidii yako Mheshimiwa Rais ya kujenga madarasa 1023 kote nchini imetambuliwa na watoto hawa. Angalia Mheshimiwa Rais, mchoro wa kitabu pale na wakaandika elimu kuashiria mada ya sherehe za leo. Tuwape makofi mazuri. Makofi mazuri kwa wanafunzi wa hapa Wajir kwa kutuletea onyesho bab kubwa. Tuwasindikize kwa makofi wanafunzi wetu wanapoondoka uwanjani tafadhali, na tuwapishe wasanii kutoka eneo hili ambao watatuletea burudani. Wanapoingia Mheshimiwa Rais, tunajiandaa sasa kupokea densi za kitamaduni, na hawa unawaona pale ni wanafunzi wa shule za sekondari kutoka hapa Wajir. Ngoja usikie sasa. Sema tu siya. Ikifurahisha sana wapi vigelegele wajia.
makofi mazuri wasanii kutoka hapa Wajia kwa bonge la burudani.
Mheshimiwa Rais, huo ndio mwisho wa burudani yetu kwa leo kama ilivyoandaliwa na PPMC chini yake Daktari Donald Otoyo. Na sasa naenda moja kwa moja hadi kwa mkuu wa sherehe za kitaifa Michael Kitonga.
Asanteni sana. Tuwapigie makofi tena kwa burudani safi kabisa. Mheshimiwa Rais, hiko na bahatikana naelezewa watu kushajaa nje ya bustani hii. Kwa hivyo haigo naomba ya kwamba tutizame runinga ili tuweze kuona video ambaye inatuelezea mambo ya education, ikiwa ndio kauli mbiu yetu, tukiwaruhusu wananchi waweze kuingia. Naomba tafadhali tuweke video na tuwaruhusu wananchi ambao wako nje waweze kuingia ili tuweze kusherekea pamoja. Burudani ama video iendelee. Studio tuwekeni video tafadhali, alafu naomba tafadhali wale wananchi ambao wako nje waruhusiwe waweze kuingia.
I encourage girls to learn. Now, girls' education is becoming a bit more. The parents have seen the benefits of girls being in school.
Studio tuwekeni video ambayo inaonyesha mambo ya elimu ambayo tulikuwa tumetayarisha. Asanteni. Wananchi waruhusiwe waingie tafadhali.
They will guide them. My names are Kea Abdul Mumin. I'm the deputy head teacher of this school, Volunteer Primary and Junior School. Personally, I encourage girls to learn. Now, girls' education is becoming a bit more. The parents have seen the benefits of girls being in school. Educating a girl child is educating the whole community. Because tomorrow they will go into the community, they will be mothers, they will be future leaders, they will guide the community. We collaborate with the community. If a girl is absent, we contact the parent, we know the problem. And if we see that she's out of school, maybe for early marriage, we follow that one and then we bring the girl to school. We train them on life skills and values. We are nurturing them every now and then. We are guiding them. We are telling them the importance of education every now and then. Gone are the days when women are seen lesser beings. The women is seen now as an important person in the community. That's why we have women reps, we have MCS who are women. So they borrow a leaf from there and we tell them we want you to be the future leaders of this country.
I'm called Naima Mikael, and we are currently in Wajia Vocational Training Center, and I'm doing beauty therapist. When I was a kid, my mom actually, she used to do home-based henna. She did not go to school actually, so she used to teach us how to draw. In Somali people, the henna thing is very famous, especially on Eid, when you have occasions. I mean, if you don't have the henna, you're like missing something big. Making use of these free government institutions, that's a good thing. Joining Wajia Vocational Training College, even when I could not pay fees, meant a lot because it saved a lot of burden for my mom. Because I'm raised by a single mom, I don't have a dad. So she could not support because we have many kids. I have like 5 siblings back at home and I'm the eldest.
The county government of Wajia has done a lot of good things for Wajia vocational training. We are given a budget which is mainly supply of instructional material and sponsoring of the student, food for retention.
So this place was actually like kind of a dream for my young kid, and up to right now, I have my own business actually. I'm providing for my family. I pay for mom's rent, I pay the bills of the life, I even pay half of my 2 siblings, I pay their school fees. You don't have to depend on anyone. Once you've learned from this place, you can actually go independently and do your own job and make your own money.
Basi wananchi wakiendelea kuingia, Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba unipe ruhusa niweze kumkaribisha gavana wa eneo gatuzi la Wajir, Mheshimiwa Abdullahi Ali aweze kutukaribisha. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali nikimkaribisha gavana aje aweze kutukaribisha hapa Wajir. Karibu gavana.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Your Excellency, Mama Rachel Ruto, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Abraham Kindiki Kithure. Your Excellency, Mama Dr. Joyce Gatira Kithure. Cabinet Secretaries, Speakers of both houses, Members of Parliament, Governors present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, it's a great honor and privilege to welcome you to Wajir County, the Camel capital of Kenya, for the 63rd National Madaraka Day celebrations. On this day, as we reflect on our historic journey towards self-governance, I wish to recognize the courage, sacrifice, and the selflessness of our forefathers and the freedom fighters at both national and regional level. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me first to express our profound gratitude to His Excellency, the President of Kenya, President William Samoei Ruto, for according Wajir County and the wider northeastern region the honor to host this year's Madaraka Day. Your Excellency, the name Wajir means coming together. Wajir is not just a geographical space. It was a strategic bastion. Nestled between Garissa and Mandera, Wajir has for centuries stood as a vital artery of trade, a historic crossroads connecting the Republic of Kenya to its neighbors, Somalia and Ethiopia. Long before the colonial borders, Wajir was a prize to be won, a strategic stronghold, a fierce battleground between the British and the Italians. And Your Excellency, this is the only place in Kenya that for 2 years was under Italian rule. Today, Your Excellency, this town is blessed with sacred historic sites for everyone to see. We stand proud as the home of some of the pioneer educational institutions in the Republic of Kenya, including Wajir Full Primary School and Wajir High School, established in the 1940s and 60s respectively. Your Excellency, the people of Wajir have waited for this day. They prayed for this moment, a day when they host you, their President, a day they get the attention of other Kenyans, stand shoulder to shoulder with the leadership of the Republic, witness the parade of our gallant security forces, and experience the unifying force of patriotism that comes with a national occasion of great magnitude such as this. This day, Your Excellency, marks a defining moment in Wajir's journey. Your Excellency, these celebrations say that Wajir is no longer remote and peripheral. It's fully integrated into the country's shared imagination and future. Your Excellency, the people of Wajir and the wider region will for years to come look back to this day with pride and awe. They will remember this great honor bestowed upon this county by you, Your Excellency. They will remember you as the President who did what was thought unthinkable, rotating the hosting of national holidays, and even more courageously deciding that northern Kenya, and of all places Wajir, for that matter, will host Madaraka Day. Your Excellency, for a long time the people of the northeastern Kenya have organized loudly and silently about the question of belonging and identity. As a region, our post-independence history is often discussed through the lens of marginalization and judged by the images of drought, ravaged livestock when rains fails, security-related hardships, and state-led citizenship challenges, especially in obtaining identification cards and documents, and in old memories of exclusion. Numerous massacres were executed against the residents. The most heinous being the Wagala massacre in Wajir in 1984. Others were the Malkamari massacre in Mandera and the Garissa Town massacre in Garissa, commonly referred to as the Garissa Gubai. Since the second liberation and the introduction of multipartyism, followed by the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution and the inception of devolution, a lot has changed for the better. Just a case in point to illustrate this, Your Excellency, in 2013, before devolution, there was a single doctor in the then Wajir district serving 700,000 people across 56,000 square kilometers. Today, Wajir boasts of 76 medical officers, more than 1,100 healthcare professionals, 174 health facilities, modern theaters in all our sub-county hospitals, and fully fledged emergency and blood transfusion services at the Wajir Teaching and Referral Hospital. Today, Your Excellency, you will honor us by officially commissioning our Level 5 referral hospital. But even with these changes, we still viewed as remote and peripheral. Your Excellency, Northern Kenya did not sprout when you became president. Today, it's part of the conversation because you have clearly demonstrated by action that you're concerned about inclusion and about balanced development. It was therefore a great honor, Your Excellency, when you graciously acceded to our request to host 2026 Madaraka Day celebrations in Wajir County. Your Excellency, your proclamation of one Kenya, a Kenya for all, has further strengthened this journey. Your Excellency, nowhere has the spirit of inclusion been felt more deeply than when in the recent past you came to Wajir County and you made a presidential proclamation on the registration of issuance of national identity cards and other identification documents to border counties. The lifting of discriminatory vetting in the issuance of identity cards was a profound act of political courage. By removing the painful barriers of extra vetting and systemic profiling, you did more than issue identity cards to deserving Kenyans. You restored our dignity. And you gave us a sense of belonging. You have strongly affirmed that a child born in Wajir possesses the same rights, the same dreams, and the same ownership of the Kenyan promise as a child born anywhere else in the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency, courtesy of hosting Madaraka Day, this municipality and its environs have benefited tremendously, not only from this magnificent stadium, but also from the construction of additional roads, recarpeting of the old roads, drainage works, overlaying of the airport runway. It's been a timely boost for the business community. It created thousands of temporary jobs and enabled safe employment through, among others, content creation. Wajir content creators sprang up overnight and became famous by posting every stage of the construction of the stadium. Your Excellency, on the occasion of the launch of the Nyota program, when you were here last on 12th of February, you committed to give the people of Wajir a commercial terminal and a civilian access separate from the military gate at our airport. I confirm to you that Kenya Airports Authority is actively on the ground and working on this. Your Excellency, the affordable housing project, your flagship transformation agenda, is creating jobs, expanding home ownership, and injecting new life to our local economy. It stands out as the single largest real estate investment in our county. Additionally, many markets and student hostels, classrooms, and laboratories are under construction in all constituencies. The Isiolo Mandera Road is ongoing, thanks to your leadership. And the journey to Singapore is truly on course because of you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, may I take this opportunity on behalf of the people of Wajir and the entire Northeast to express my deepest gratitude to the establishment and the operationalization of the Livestock Products Marketing Board. Rangeland and pastoralism remain our backbone. There still is need for more investments in feedlots, livestock products, value addition, commercial dairy production, and livestock cooperatives. Your Excellency, as I bring my remarks to a close, allow me to express my deep gratitude for another historic gesture, the establishment of a state lodge in Wajir town. By placing a permanent seat of presidential presence here in Wajir, Your Excellency, you have brought the highest office of the Republic of Kenya to our people. In many years, in many ways, Your Excellency, you have become our resident 001. I look forward to your holding of the first cabinet meeting at Wajir State Lodge. To every investor, entrepreneur, young dreamer watching from across Kenya and beyond, I say this to you: do not wait for the future of Wajir to arrive. Become part of it, invest in it, build it, grow with us. Building the future of Wajir is already unfolding. In closing, Your Excellency, There are many people who I wish were alive to celebrate this great occasion with us today. The late Raila Amolo Odinga, my former party leader, and the late Minister, the Honorable Ahmed Khalif, stand out. The late Raila was a true believer in devolution and was fond of Wajir County, which he visited numerous occasions. As for the Honorable, the late Minister Ahmed Khalif Alayhi Rahm, Your Excellency, I want to tell you that I am an accidental politician. I engaged in politics for the first time in 2002, not to contest, but to help the late Ahmed Khalif, a man I admired, to recapture his seat as his campaign manager. Your Excellency, it will be a befitting tribute for the people of Wajir in his remembrance to name this magnificent stadium the Honorable Ahmed Khalif Stadium. He was not only a political leader and a human rights champion, but also a religious leader who served as the Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims. As I close, Your Excellency, once again, Your Excellency, on behalf of the people of Wajir, thank you. Asante sana. And as we say here, Mahat Sanit. Your Excellency, when you honor someone in our culture, and the highest honor is given to kings, Your Excellency, the community for the king contributes 100 camel. The elders of Wajir have said that you are our king, and they will give you 100 camel to be delivered by them at a place of your choice. You are our Sultan. It's now, Your Excellency, my distinct honor and privilege to invite His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Abraham Kindiki Kithure, to make his remarks and invite Your Excellency. A happy Madaraka Day to you all, the people of Wajir, the people of Northeastern, and to Kenyans at large. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your Excellency, as I was reading this speech, I was shaking, and Senator Cheriot will tell you, I spent half the time sitting there crying. Thank you.
Wajia hoye! Wajia hoye! Kenya hoye! Ni leo si leo, ni sasa si sasa. Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya William Samoei Ruto, viongozi wote nikizingatia itifaki zote zilizowekwa, leo ni siku kuu kwa jamhuri yetu, kwa sababu ya hafla hii ya siku ya leo ya 63 ya madaraka ambayo tunafanyia hapa Wajir. I want to congratulate you, Mr. President, for taking the inclusivity and equality agenda of our country a step further. Katika miaka 63 ambayo imepita, tumepiga hatua muhimu katika maendeleo ya nchi yetu. Tumekuwa tukizingatia katiba na tunaendelea kuizingatia. Lakini Mheshimiwa Rais, katika miaka ambayo umekuwa mamlakani, serikali ya awamu ya 5 ambaye wewe ni kiongozi wa hiyo serikali, imefanya mambo muhimu ili kuweka mbele utaifa wetu na kuunganisha taifa letu la Kenya. Umetoa utaratibu ambao ulikuwa unabagua wananchi kutoka sehemu hii ya kaskazini mwa Kenya, na sasa utaratibu wa kutoa stakabadhi za kitaifa zikiwemo vitambulisho, utaratibu ambao unatumika sehemu zote za Kenya ndio utaratibu unatumika hata hapa Wajir na kaskazini mwa Kenya na pwani, na hakuna tena sababu ya kuwa na utaratibu tofauti ambao unalinganisha wananchi kulingana na dini zao ama maeneo ambao wametoka. Rais Ruto ni fire si fire. Mr. President, you have not only brought dignity to all the people of Kenya, but also you have put our inclusivity agenda forward by making sure that the development projects of our country are equitably shared. And Mr. President, we are looking forward to the completion of your famous road connecting Mandera to Ramu, to Gare, to Elwak, to Kobo, from Kobo to Kotulo, to Tarbaj, to Wajir, to Samata, to Modogashe, past Garbatula, all the way to Kulamawe and Isiolo. Rais Ruto ni fire si fire. Ajenge asijenge. Mr. President, just yesterday you opened the power plant in Abaswen. There are similar power plants your government has done in Eldas, in Elwak, in Merti, and for bringing the people of this part of our country into the integrated energy and well-lit Kenyan nation. We salute you na tunasema uendelee rais. Mwisho kabisa, nataka nikupongeze Mheshimiwa Rais kwa sababu umesema ya kwamba vile umeanzisha hazina ya miundo msingi wa kitaifa, National Infrastructure Fund, umetuambia kwamba ile pesa mingi ya kujenga mabawa ya maji under the National Infrastructure Fund, most resources will be dedicated to arid and semi-arid lands, and that is going to change the fortunes of Wajir, northern Kenya, and the nearly 75% of the arid and arid lands of our country. Rais Ruto ni fire si fire. Aendelee asiendelee. Mr. President, today is your day. Allow me, with a lot of humility, to request you, sir, Mr. President, to come and address the people of Kenya from Wajir. Wapi makofi ya rais jameni? Ni fire si fire? Ni noma si noma? Wacha nione salamu ya Rais William Ruto, salamu ya Rais William Ruto.
The other way. Basi, tafadhali tunaweza keti chini. Thank you very much. You can take your seats, those who have seats. No. It's the opposite direction. No, the other way. Ndugu wananchi wa Wajir, hamjambo? Wajir hoye! Wajir hoye! Ni leo si leo. Assalamu alaikum. Asanteni sana. This is Wajir County. And this is Kenya. This is what we meant when we said we would leave no one behind. The great people of Wajir County, distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen, today we make history. For the first time in 63 years of self-rule and national celebration, Madaraka Day is being hosted here in Wajir, in the heart of northern Kenya. This is not a mere ceremonial gesture. It is a national declaration. It is a moment of affirmation that Madaraka, our freedom, our dignity, our self-determination was never meant for some Kenyans and not for others. It was never meant for some regions and withheld from others. Madaraka belonged, still belongs, and will forever belong equally to every single Kenyan. Fellow citizens, on Madaraka Day in 1963, our freedom fighters did something consequential. They secured the transfer of political authority from colonial hands into African hands and into Kenyan hands. But self-rule was never simply about changing who holds power. It was about beginning the long but necessary journey of building a nation worthy of the sacrifices that secured its freedom. That promise, that work in progress, is the reason we are here today in Wajir. Decades after independence, this region was left behind through neglect, marginalization, discrimination, and policy failures. Sessional paper number 10 of 1965 entrenched a development paradigm that concentrated development in the so-called high potential areas. Vast regions like the former northern province were classified as marginal, as lesser, and as undeserving. The consequences, ladies and gentlemen, were devastating and long-lasting. Decades without adequate roads, without water, health, or schools. Communities pushed to the fringes of their own republic. Their patriotism questioned, their citizenship doubted, their aspirations undermined. For too long, some said this region was too difficult, too dry, too remote, and too insecure to deserve any development. That was wrong then. It is wrong now. It will forever remain wrong. But we are dismantling that legacy of exclusion. One road, one health facility, one school, one project, and one opportunity at a time. Fellow citizens, I want to tell you that on behalf of the people of Kenya, today, as I stand here as president and leader of our great nation, to the people of Kenya, in northern Kenya, for this marginalization, I want to apologize on behalf of the nation of Kenya. Poleni sana ndugu zetu. It was never meant to be this way. And as my brother governor has said, this has been a very emotional moment for me. I want to tell you the story of Bakaja Ibrahim Osman. He was born here in Wajir, east of this county in the early 1960s. His parents were born here, but for years, every time Osman went to apply for identity card, the most basic document of citizenship, he was treated not as a Kenyan, but as a suspect, an illegal alien. Every time he was asked for extra documents, subjected to additional vetting, and sent from office to office year after year. Osman was not alone. For more than 6 decades, this was the lived experience of hundreds of thousands of Kenyans in northern Kenya. Citizens were forced to prove they belong through a system built on suspicion, ethnic profiling, and bureaucratic humiliation. How could Osman and countless others like him be expected to pursue their dreams and build their future? The Constitution of Kenya says clearly, every Kenyan, regardless of their ethnicity, religion, or geography, deserves equal protection, equal dignity, and equal treatment under the law. That is why in February 2025, right here at Orahest grounds in Wajir town, I signed the Presidential Declaration on registration and issuance of IDs and birth certificates in northern Kenya and other counties, ending that system of discrimination. The results, ladies and gentlemen, are already being felt. Citizens like Abdirahman Ali Osman and Mariam Isaac Mohammed, both born in 2007 here in Wajir County, were among thousands of young Kenyans who turned 18 last year and walked away with their national identity cards. No hurdles, no extra documentation, no discrimination, no humiliation, just their rightful documents in their hands on time. That is how it should work. That is how it must work. That is how it will work for every Kenyan in every part of our republic. But let me be direct about what that decision was not. It was not an invitation for foreigners to acquire Kenyan documents illegally. Kenyan identity cards will only be issued to legitimate citizens of this republic. Our commitment to justice and inclusion goes hand in hand with our duty to protect the integrity of our national identity and the security of our country. We did not abolish verification of citizenship. We abolished discrimination. We abolished the targeting of entire communities simply because of their ethnicity or place of birth. A strong nation does not choose between security and justice. A strong nation protects both. That is exactly what we are doing. Today, people like Osman and Mariam no longer feel like strangers in their own country. They feel seen and heard. they feel recognized, they matter, and they belong. Ladies and gentlemen, yet we know that inclusion does not end with recognition. It must be reflected in people's daily lives, in the education of their children, the health that they access, the opportunities available to their young people, and the roads they travel on. That is why the bottom-up economic transformation agenda was conceived not merely as an economic program, but as a deliberate strategy for inclusion. This administration, my administration, has deliberately invested in northern Kenya and historically marginalized regions of our republic. Of all the investments, ladies and gentlemen, we are making in northern Kenya, none is more important than education, which is also the theme of this year's Madaraka: education, skills, and the future. Of all the tools a nation possesses, education is the most potent. It is the bridge between promise and possibility, between poverty and prosperity, and between exclusion and belonging. Unlike in 1963, the next frontier of Kenya's liberation will not be fought on conventional battlefields. It will be won in classrooms and lecture halls, laboratories and workshops, and in innovation hubs. The nations leading the world today and their position: South Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, invested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education and became a technology powerhouse. Singapore turned it to its people into the greatest resource. Finland built a knowledge economy through sustained investment in learning. Kenya is decisively moving in that direction. The competence-based education and training system is transforming what learning means in Kenya. It is equipping our children not merely to pass examinations, but to think critically, solve problems, innovate, and compete on the global stage. It is designed around a simple but powerful belief that every child has unique abilities and talents worth discovering, nurturing, and unleashing. What particularly encourages me is that 52% of learners in the first ever grade 10 cohort have chosen the STEM pathway. This tells us that a new generation is rising, one that will drive Kenya and Kenya's industrial transformation, power our technological advancement, and build the innovation economy that will define our nation's next chapter. That is why this administration has made education not just a priority, but the foundation of our future. No nation can rise above the knowledge, the capabilities, and the skills of its citizens. Our education budget has grown from 500 billion in 2022 to over 702 billion today. We have hired more than 100,000 teachers in just 3 years, with 20,000 more set to be hired this year, making it one of the most ambitious teacher recruitment drives in our nation's history. Most importantly, and as a source of pride for the people and leaders of Northern Kenya, 3 years ago, we agreed that the lasting solution to teacher shortages in this region was to train more local teachers. That is why we operationalized the Wajir and Kutulo and Mandera Teachers Training Colleges to complement Garissa Teachers Training College. Today, through this affirmative action program, a record 1,800 local teachers from the 3 counties of Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa have been employed and will be deployed in the region. Additionally, 4,616 young people from this region are enrolled in teacher training colleges, the highest number in our history. This is how lasting solutions are built, by investing in people. On infrastructure, we have built 23,000 classrooms and a further 1,000 laboratories are under construction, many of them in ASAL regions that have waited for too long for modern learning facilities. At the same time, more than 850,000 young Kenyans are enrolled in our technical, vocational education colleges, acquiring the skills, the tools, and the confidence needed to build this nation with their hands from the bottom up. Here in Wajir and across northern Kenya, our commitment is this: no child will be denied the opportunity to learn because of geography or historical neglect. School feeding programs are already supporting 2.4 million learners in arid and semi-arid regions. While we continue to deploy teachers, build infrastructure, and expand digital connectivity across this region, yet some children in northern Kenya and other marginalized regions remain outside the formal education system because of certain alternative learning pathways that have not been adequately recognized or accommodated within our education framework. This challenge is particularly evident in the absence of a clear framework to recognize and integrate TUKSI, Madrasa, and the program for pastoral instructions into the national education system. Today, I direct the Cabinet Secretary for Education to engage all relevant stakeholders and take the necessary measures under the Basic Education Act to consult widely and recommend appropriate measures for the formal integration of the same. This will ensure that every child, regardless of background or circumstance, has a recognized pathway into learning, skills, and opportunity. Every child deserves a door into learning. It is our duty to open every door. Yet, operating and opening the door for opportunity is only part of the journey. Inclusion must also mean access to quality healthcare, dignity, and well-being for every citizen. Today, of the 31.5 million Kenyans registered with the Social Health Authority, about 800,000 are residents of Wajir, Garissa, and Mandera counties, representing one of the most significant expansions of healthcare inclusion since independence. To date, SHA has paid 8.1 billion Kenya shillings in claims for services provided in these 3 counties, demonstrating the transformative impact of this reform on access to quality healthcare. Beyond healthcare, ladies and gentlemen, inclusion must translate into opportunity for our young people. Already, more than 2,500 youth across all 30 counties of Wajir County have benefited from the Nyota program through business support, capital, training, and mentorship. Across Wajir, Garissa, and Mandera counties, more than 7,200 young people are beneficiaries. We are also investing in Jitume digital hubs, ICT centers, digital skills programs, and digital infrastructure so that a young person in Wajir can compete with any person in Kenya and globally. Through the labor mobility program, we are opening pathways to jobs, skills, and international experience. Our message to the young people of Northern Kenya is simple. Your future will not be defined by geography. It will be defined by your talent, your skills, and your determination. But talent and determination flourish where opportunity is accessible and infrastructure is strong. That is why we are investing not only in people, but also the foundations of economic transformation. Today in Wajir County, through our affordable housing program, we have invested 15.6 billion shillings in the development of 4,600 housing units, including markets and including hostels, which are at various stages of procurement and construction. This is the largest housing development Wajir has witnessed since independence. One of these projects, located just 3 kilometers from here, stands as a visible symbol of our commitment to ensuring that development, opportunity, and decent living are not reserved for only a few regions. These projects are creating jobs for our young people and generating opportunities for local enterprises. But this is only one part of a much larger transformation. Across Wajir, Garissa, and Mandera counties, projects valued at approximately 38.5 billion are currently at various stages of implementation. These investments are delivering affordable housing, student accommodation, modern markets, police housing, classrooms, and other supporting infrastructure that will improve lives, expand economic opportunity, and accelerate the region's development. Alongside housing and other social investments, we are investing in the infrastructure that connects communities to opportunity. That is why connectivity remains central to Northern Kenya's transformation. For decades, distance was used to justify exclusion. Today, we are defeating distance. With a 750-kilometer Northern Kenya Gateway Corridor linking Isiolo, Wajir, and Mandera, we are undertaking the most significant and consequential road investment in this region since independence, and connecting communities that were once isolated from markets, from investment, from development, essential services, and economic opportunity. This investment of road, this single road, is going to cost the government of Kenya close to 100 billion Kenya shillings. Si munajua ile barabara ya kutoka Isiolo ile inakuja Modokashi, inateremka inaenda Samata, inakuja mpaka hapa Wajia, alafu inatembea hapa Tarbaj, iende Kotulo, iende Kobo, iende Elwak, Gare, alafu ifike kule Mandera. Yes. Na pia ile barabara inatoka kule Lamu kuja Karisa, iende Kulamawe na kuungana na hii barabara pale Isiolo. Ladies and gentlemen, this is more than a road project. It is a bridge between exclusion and opportunity, between neglect and investment, and between the Kenya that was and the Kenya that we are building together. And then there is livestock. Here in Wajir and across northern Kenya, livestock is more than an economic activity. It pays school fees, feeds families, creates jobs, drives trade, and in difficult times sustains entire communities. The sector contributes about 12% of Kenya's GDP and 42% of agricultural GDP. In the ASAL counties, it accounts for more than 90% of employment and above 95% of household incomes. Yet for decades, pastoralism was regarded as one of Kenya's most valuable economic assets, while receiving limited support in animal health, markets, infrastructure, and financing. We are changing that through one of the most significant livestock restocking programs in recent years. We have distributed more than 52,000 sheep, goats, and cattle to over 10,000 households across 16 arid and semi-arid lands, helping families rebuild livestock wealth lost through drought and other shocks. To strengthen pastoral livelihoods, we have vaccinated more than 10 million animals, expanded local vaccine production to over 123 million doses, established feedlots and hay storage facilities, restored more than 300,000 hectares of degraded rangelands, expanded breeding programs, and strengthened livestock training, marketing, and market infrastructure, including here in Wajir. Today, we are also deploying an additional 2,000 agripreneurs for our ASAL counties, seated right here in our midst. They will provide last-mile agricultural advisory services, connect pastoralist communities to markets and finance, and support the transition to climate-smart agro-pastoralism and more resilient livelihoods. Together, with the 5,000 already in place, we now have 7,000 agripreneurs driving agricultural transformation across our country. The results of this deliberate intervention are already visible. Meat exports have increased by 84% from Kenya shillings 8.9 billion in 2022 to Kenya shillings 16.4 billion in 2025. Milk production has increased from 4.6 billion liters to 5.3 billion liters, while dairy exports have grown from 4.9 billion Kenya shillings to 14.2 billion Kenya shillings. These gains are translating into higher income for livestock and pastoral communities, stronger markets for producers, and greater confidence in the future of pastoral economy. But this is only the beginning. Just as crop farmers receive deliberate government support, pastoralists too deserve support for the assets upon which their livelihoods depend, because livestock is agriculture and pastoralists are farmers. That is why we will expand livestock support program through a new phase of strategic restocking, enhanced vaccination campaigns, improved feeding programs, drought-resilient interventions, and additional feedlots. Our vision, however, goes beyond production. Just as tea farmers own their factories through KTDA and dairy farmers own their cooperatives, pastoralists too must own and control the businesses built around their livestock. That is why we are establishing a Kenya shillings 5 billion county livestock investment company initiative to support more than 350,000 pastoralists across 21 ASAL counties to form and own livestock investment companies. Through these enterprises, they will gain access to markets, gain access to finance and insurance, and value add their produce. In phase 1, the initiative will improve the livelihoods of more than 2 million household members. I have directed the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, in partnership with county governments, to begin immediate registration of these companies across all the 21 ASAL counties. We will also operationalize the Livestock Enterprise Development Fund, establish a national strategic fodder reserve, strengthen pastoral cooperatives, fully roll out the animal identification and traceability system, and invest in the infrastructure needed to unlock premium export markets across Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. We must move beyond live animals exports to higher value products such as meat, leather, and dairy. For long, many looked at livestock and saw subsistence. We look at livestock and see enterprise. We see exports. We see jobs. We see wealth. And we see northern Kenya becoming the gateway of Africa's livestock trade to the Middle East and to the world. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what inclusion looks like. This is what dignity looks like. And this is what we meant when we said we would leave no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, as we look to the future, we must also ask ourselves a bigger question. What will define the next chapter of Kenya's journey? For 63 years, we have worked to expand freedom, deepen inclusion, and strengthen our democracy. Today, our focus is equally clear: to transform Kenya into a prosperous, productive, and globally competitive nation. That is the roadmap before us. A Kenya that will feed itself and export surplus to the world. A Kenya that manufactures more of what it consumes. A Kenya that creates jobs and opportunities for its young people. And a Kenya that competes confidently in the regional and global economy. Northern Kenya is not peripheral to that vision. it is central to it. For too long, Northern Kenya was viewed through the lens of scarcity. Today, we recognize its immense potential in renewable energy, livestock production, irrigated agriculture, trade, logistics, and regional commerce. Its strategic location at the crossroads of Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia places it at the heart of regional connectivity and economic opportunity. Positioned along the Lapsset corridor and between the Lamu and Turkana oil frontiers, Northern Kenya serves as a gateway to regional and global markets. Its people possess the resilience, the enterprise, and the determination that have sustained communities through some of the most challenging conditions anywhere that is imaginable. The future of Kenya's growth lies in unlocking the full potential of every part of our republic. That is why we are investing deliberately in Northern Kenya. Fellow citizens, if we are to unlock that potential, one resource will be fundamental: water. Water means irrigation. Water means food production, industry, resilience, and opportunity. That is why my administration has set the ambition to build 50 mega dams across the country, 200 medium and small dams, and thousands of micro dams. Projects that will bring 2.5 million additional acres under irrigation and food production and export production within the next 5 to 7 years. These dams, many in northern Kenya, including Isiolo on the Ewaso Nyiro Basin, the High Grand Falls Dam on Tana River, the mega dam on River Dawa in Mandera, right here in Wajir not to be specific, Butte Dam that has been in the work for many years, the Sikli Canal in Garissa, Lowat in Turkana, Narosura in Narok, Aror in Elgeyo Marakwet are among the many that are in our priority list. Each of these dams is a statement that no county is too remote to deserve investment, and no river too far to be harnessed for the good of Kenya. What was once called remote will become strategic, and what was once neglected will become indispensable to our food security, our prosperity, and the future we are all building together. Fellow citizens, 63 years ago, our founding generation secured political freedom. Our responsibility is to ensure that every Kenyan experiences the full promise of that freedom. Freedom from exclusion, from neglect, from discrimination, and freedom to learn, work, and build a better future for ourselves and for our families. For decades, some parts of our country were told they were too distant, they were too dry, too difficult, or too marginal to matter. Today, from Wajir, Kenya rejects that thinking. We affirm that no community is peripheral to our national story. No child is too far away to deserve opportunity, and no citizen is too distant to deserve dignity, and no county is too remote to deserve development. From Busia to Mandera, from Turkana to Kwale, And from Kisumu to Mombasa, every corner of this great republic matters because every Kenyan matters. Wajir is not the age of Kenya. Wajir is Kenya. Northeastern is Kenya, and Kenya belongs to all of us. Ndugu zangu watu wa Wajir, mimi nimefurahi sana. This has been a great moment. This has been one of the most consequential Madaraka days that I have attended. Na mimi nawaambia watu wa Wajir, watu wa Northern Kenya, yale yalifanyika pale nyuma hayatafanyika tena. Tutatembea pamoja kama ndugu wa taifa moja. Nataka niwahakikishie uwanja huu ambao tumejenga kwa muda mfupi, mimi nitahakikisha kwamba imekamilika na imekuwa kiwango ya kimataifa. Na baada ya kukamilisha uwanja huu vile mumeuliza, na mimi nakubaliana na nyinyi 100% kwamba huu uwanja uitwe Ahmed Khalif Wajir Stadium. Mbali na uwanja huu ambao tunajenga na zile miradi nyingine yote ambayo yanaendelea katika kaunti hii na Northern Kenya kwa ujumla, airport yetu hapa, wananchi wa hapa Wajir muliniuliza ya kwamba uwanja huu tuwe na entry mbili, ile ya wanajeshi wetu na pia tuweke terminal building ya wananchi ama a civilian terminal building. I want to confirm to you that we have provided the necessary resources. We have done the necessary preparation, and before the end of this year, you will have a working civilian terminal for the use of the people of Wajir County and their visitors. Vile vile, nataka nitangaze nikiwa hapa Wajir. Hapa Wajir imesemekana ya kwamba ni mahali pa watu kukutana na ni mahali pa amani. Ndio jina hasa ya Wajir. Na sababu hiyo, nataka niwatangazie ya kwamba serikali ya Kenya tutawapatia pesa ya kujenga university ya Wajir. And that program is going to begin this year. Nyinyi kama watu wa Wajir mutanisaidia kuamua na mutenge ardhi ambayo inatosha kujenga university itakayosaidia katika kuendesha maendeleo ya sehemu ya Northern Kenya na jamhuri yetu ya Kenya kwa ujumla. Mimi nataka niwashukuru ndugu zangu watu wa Wajir. Sijawahi kutoa machozi kwa mkutano wa Madaraka, lakini leo imekuwa tofauti. And I feel you. I feel this moment. And I feel the people of Northern Kenya. And I want to assure you that from now going forward, we are going to walk together, shoulder to shoulder, as one people, one nation with a common destiny. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki, ninawapenda sana, na Mungu awabariki taifa letu la Kenya. Thank you very much.
Nitaomba sote sasa tusimame ili tumalize sherehe yetu kwa wimbo wa taifa. kuwa mwisho wa sherehe yetu za siku ya leo. Niombe viongozi wetu kumpa Mheshimiwa Rais nafasi kuondoka nitakapokuwa nikitangaza itifaki za kuondoka. Nafasi hii Mheshimiwa Daktari William Ruto, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi, pamoja na Mama Taifa Bi Rachel Ruto wataondoka kwa hiari yao wakisindikishwa na Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi Jenerali Charles Kahariri. Ni zamu ya Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, na niombe viongozi wale wengine tutulie ili tuweze kuongozwa katika itifaki za kufumukana. Anaondoka kwa sasa Mheshimiwa Rais baada ya kutuongoza katika sherehe iliyobambwa makala ya 63 sherehe ya madaraka hapa katika uga wa Wajir. Kauli mbiu masuala ya elimu, ubunifu na hata maisha ya usoni. Nizamu yake sasa Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari William Ruto, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi, Mama Taifa Bi Rachel Ruto wakisindikishwa na Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi Jenerali Charles Kahariri kuweza kuondoka. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Right, and you've been watching the national celebrations of the Madaraka Day from Wajir Stadium that will now be renamed to
ikiwa ni makala ya 63 sherehe ya madaraka. Nikizidi kuwahimiza viongozi tu kuwa watulivu ili tuweze kuwaongoza katika itifaki ya kuondoka.
Reflection made him so emotional to a point where he even shed tears as he concluded. He is saying that he has never done that there before. I remember when they were beginning, they talked about inclusivity and giving examples of how these communities from the northeastern side, giving examples of how they've been going through difficult situations in terms of getting IDs. I think this has been a major problem in this side.
Na kweli ameweza kueleza jinsi wa Kenya kutoka eneo hili la taifa wamekuwa kibaguliwa, hasa ukizingatia katika zile investments ama uwekezaji katika sekta za elimu, katika sekta ya afya. Ukimpata pale akisema kwamba kumekuwa na changamoto si haba jinsi wa Kenya kutoka eneo hilo wanapata nafasi za elimu, akiweza kuzungumza akisema kwamba kutakuwa na mchakato ambao Wizara ya Elimu itakuwa ikifanya kutafuta mbinu za kuhakikisha kila mmoja ambaye anataka kupata elimu ama mtoto ambaye anataka kupata elimu atakuwa akipata nafasi hiyo, japo ama bila kuzingatia jiografia ama eneo ambalo anatoka, ikizingatiwa kwamba kumekuwa na changamoto kuhusiana na hata kupata chakula cha mchana. Kuna wanafunzi wengi ambao wamekosa nafasi ya shule, na kama mlivyosema kuhusiana na swala la vitambulisho vya taifa, kulikuwa na mchakato ambao wa Kenya kutoka eneo hilo umekuwa kipitisha, akisema kwamba huo ni mchakato wa ubaguzi. Sasa akisema kwamba si kwamba ile hali ya verification ama kuhakikisha kwamba wanachanganua stakabadhi ya ID, si kusema kwamba huu mchakato utafanywa ndio, lakini utakuwa ni kubaini kama kawaida kama Wakenya wengine, lakini sio kwamba ni ubaguzi ambao umekuwa ukiendelea. Vile vile ameweza kusema kwamba kufikia sasa wameendelea kuwekeza katika shule zinajengwa. Akasema kwamba kumekuwa na uwekezaji wa takriban shilingi bilioni 38 ambazo zinaendelea kufanywa katika eneo hili la Northern Kenya. Kuna mashule, kuna affordable housing, kuna jinsi wameweza kuwekeza katika taasisi mbalimbali na vile vile barabara ambazo zinaendelea kujengwa.
Naam, Sam akimaliza pale, kuna wakati watu ambapo wamefurahi sana wakati ambapo wamesikia Rais William Ruto akiwaeleza kwamba kutoka hivi sasa huu mwaka wameanza mpango wa kuanzisha university ya kwanza hapa Wajir. I think ni jambo ambalo watu walikuwa wamegoja kwa hamu waone wakisema haya yote, kwa sababu unakumbuka wiki hii kumekuwa na mpangilio mwingi sana, masuala ya elimu wamekuwa wakizungumzia mambo tofauti kuhusu innovation, wanaangalia mambo kuhusu skills, na maybe swali la mwisho wangekuwa wanauliza wanafunzi hao wote wakimaliza sekondari watakuwa wanaenda wapi?
Jinsi mlivyosema Njenga na Sam, jambo kubwa ambalo rais amezungumzia pia ni kwa kuna wanafunzi milioni 2.4 ambao tayari government inawapatia ile support katika maeneo ya ASAL areas ama zile counties tunazoziita ASAL areas, and I think that is very good for counties kama hizo, tuseme kama Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, hata county kama ile Baringo. Ni jambo kubwa sana kwa wanafunzi kama hao, na ni jambo la maana kuwa wanafunzi hao waweze kupata nafasi ya kuendelea kusoma, wapate nafasi ya kuendelea mpaka chuo kikuu. Na jinsi Njenga alivyosema ni kwamba wiki iliyopita tulikuwa na hiyo tunayoita thematic week, na kwa jambo kubwa kuhusu madaraka hii ya 63 ilikuwa ni mambo ya masomo. So rais akisema kwamba wanawekeza sana katika mambo ya masomo, nafikiri kwamba Sam ni jambo nzuri.
Ndio, na kuzingatia na swala hilo la elimu, vile vile ameweza kusema kwamba miaka michache iliyopita waliweza kuanzisha, nafikiri miaka mitatu, waliweza kuanzisha taasisi za kuwafundisha walimu, na hivi sasa wameweza kuajiri walimu 1800 kutoka taasisi hizo. Hivi sasa akisema kwamba kuna walimu wengine takriban 4000 ambao wako ndani ya shule hizo ama zile colleges wakiweza kupata mafunzo, na hivi karibuni watakuwa wakipata nafasi za ajira, akisema kwamba hii ndio mbinu mwafaka ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba changamoto ya upungufu wa walimu katika eneo hili na maeneo mengine ambayo yamekuwa na changamoto za aina hii unaweza kukamilika, ikizingatiwa kwamba unapozungumza kuhusu viwango vya elimu lazima utaongea kuhusu upungufu ama idadi ya walimu walioko katika shule. Hapo jana tulipokuwa na kipindi cha elimu mashinani tuliweza kupata kwamba takriban 51% kuna upungufu wa 51% katika vyuo vya JSS ama vile vya junior secondary ambao hawajapata nafasi kuwa na walimu hao. Ukiangalia katika shule za msingi kuna upungufu takriban 46%. Kwa hivyo basi tutaendelea kungojea basi kuona hawa walimu wakiweza kuhitimu watakuwa wakipata nafasi hizo za ajira.
Sam, nafikiria pia kuhusu mambo ya walimu. Rais amesema kuwa kuna zile maeneo ama tunaweza sema training institutions za technical training colleges za walimu. Amezungumzia zingine 3 ambazo anasema kuwa zitasaidia kuhakikisha kuwa kuna walimu wa kutosha katika maeneo hii ya county za Wajir, Mandera na Garissa. Njenga. Naam,
tukigeuka katika upande wa hali ya afya ama sekta ya afya, rais alianza ama kabla ya rais kuzungumza, tuliona pale governor wa Wajir Ahmed Abdullahi akieleza kwa undani sana ya kwamba kuna wakati kaunti mzima ya Wajir ilikuwa na daktari mmoja, na hivi sasa wameweza kutengenezewa hospitali ambayo iko kiwango cha level 5, na kwa sasa tunapata ya kwamba wanasema ya kuwa wako na madaktari kutoka 76. Pale niliona furaha iliyoje kwa wananchi hapa, ikafika hadi mahali ambapo governor akaelezea president ya kwamba akujie ama waeleze siku ambayo angetaka wampelekee pale ngamia 100.
Ngamia 100. Akisema kwamba hili zawadi ya kipekee, na akasema kwamba yeye rais ni sultan wao, na akisema ni wapi basi hao ngamia wataweza kufikishwa katika eneo ambalo atasema. Unapozungumzia swala la afya, vile vile umemsikia rais akisema kwamba kufikia sasa kuna Wakenya milioni 31.5 ambao tayari wamesajiliwa kwa ile mamlaka ya SHA, Social Health Authority, akisema kwamba kati ya hao watu 800,000 ni kutoka eneo la kaskazini mashariki, hiyo ni kumaanisha Garissa, Wajir na Mandera, akisema kwamba kufikia sasa kuna huduma ambazo zimeweza kutolewa na hizi kaunti tatu zimeweza kupokea shilingi bilioni 8.1 kutoka kwa SHA kama kugharamia huduma za matibabu ambayo yameweza kutolewa. Lakini vile vile kumekuwa na baadhi ya miradi mingine ambayo rais ameweza kugusia kama vile affordable housing, kuna miradi kuhusiana na masuala ya kilimo, masuala ya mifugo. Umesikia nini?
Masuala ya mifugo Sam, rais amesema kwa kuna uwekezaji wa bilioni 5 utakayoenda katika County Investment Fund ya kuhakikisha kuwa zile kampuni zinazoshughulikia masuala ya wafugaji hapa katika counties zenye ziko katika maeneo ya arid and semi-arid zimeangaliliwa, na katika phase 1 target familia milioni 2, na nafikiria kwamba itakuwa ni program ambayo itakuwa inaendelea kwa muda, na sisi letu ni jito kungoja na kuona kwamba program hiyo itaendeleaje Njenga.
Kwa jambo hilo, jambo ambalo ningetaka tukue tunaangalia kwa kina sana ni swala la vile Rais William Ruto amesema ni kama ama ni kana kwamba anakuja kutoa makosa yale ambayo serikali za hapo mbeleni zilikuwa zimefanya, akiangazia masuala ya eneo hili ni kama limekuwa limeachwa nyuma sana, na tunaangalia ni kama kutoka wakati wa mkoloni projects ama development zilikuwa zinapelekwa zile pande ambazo walikuwa wanasema ndio bora zaidi. Na Sam, ukiangalia jambo hili kuna vile serikali imesema imeweka pesa za kuhakikisha ya kwamba maendeleo yanapatikana katika eneo hili, lakini kwa sasa ukiangazia yale ambayo yameweza kufanyika hivi sasa na yale ambayo ameelezea, unaona ni kama wananchi wa hapa wametoka na roho zao zikiwa zimeguzwa na kwa kweli zikapewa nguvu ya kwamba serikali inatujali.
Kumbuka pia Njenga na Sam, kuna ile barabara ambayo rais amekuwa akizungumzia sana.
Unaweza kusema ni gani?
Barabara ambayo inatoka, siwezi kuzisema vile rais uzisema, lakini ni barabara ambayo inaunganisha maeneo ya Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo, barabara ambayo rais na Mandera, na rais amesema kuwa barabara hiyo itazidi kutengenezwa, bado ni mpango ambao wameuwekelea pesa, na tunangoja pia kama wakazi wa hapa Wajir pia wakati rais alikuwa anazungumzia barabara hiyo niliona wakipiga makofi na wamefurahia sana, kwa kuwa rais pia amesema connectivity is very key to this region, so we are waiting to see kutaendaje na barabara hiyo, kwa sababu barabara imeimbwa kwa muda sana sana.
Na akasema kwamba itagharimu takriban shilingi bilioni 100. Lakini mtazamaji, najua mweza kumsikiliza rais, mweza kusikia alichosema, lakini yale ambao hukuona labda ni kwamba Wakenya kutoka eneo hilo wameweza kufika kwa wingi. Wengi wao hivi sasa wanaweza kuondoka, lakini kabla ya sherehe zenyewe kuanza kuna malango ambayo yalikuwa yameweza kufungwa upande wa nje kwa sababu hapa ndani kulikuwa kumejaa. Lakini wakati rais alifika akaweza kukagua gwaride, kukawa na burudani za shamra za Madaraka Day, basi baadaye tuliweza kuona wakati eneo hilo la uwanja liweza kuwa wazi, Wakenya ambao walikuwa wamekwama nje ya malango waliweza kuruhusiwa kuingia ndani kuweza kufuatilia moja kwa moja shughuli ama sherehe za Madaraka Day. Vile vile ni kwamba ni ishara tosha kwamba tayari tumeweza kupata nafasi ya kwanza wa Kenya kuweza kusherehekea siku ya kitaifa kutoka eneo la kaskazini mwa taifa, kusema kwamba Northeastern, eneo la Wajir.
Asante sana mtazamaji, tumekuwa hapa kuonyesha tu Wajia kumekuaje hapa Wajia Stadium, sherehe ya madaraka ya 63. Naitwa Efi Nyakidi na mwenzangu hapa anaitwa nani?
Lakini usingesema kwa lugha ya Ramogi.
Wacha niambie watu wa nyumbani. Ero kama na inya ne wane pautu kema Wajia Stadium nyasi maprauchil kodade kama madaraka orumo. Nyinga Efi Nyakidi.
Na tukimalizia, maybe watu wanashangaa ni kwa nini hafla hii imeisha. Tumezoea hii hafla inaisha pale saa 7, lakini leo imeisha saa 5. Ni kwa sababu jua lishaanza kuchomoka. Na ikifika saa 7 sijui kama umelitest.
Labda sasa uende kaandae lunch
Tunaenda pia kuswali.
Tuage kwa lugha ya Inoro.
Na kuri mwiroreri wa Inoro ni ngatho muno ni gukorwo wi na ithuĩ kuma rĩrĩa ciambĩrĩirie thaa 1 ina thaa ici ciakorwo ikihanda thaa 5 tugukorwo tugikurehera maya na mangĩ maingĩ tugicokereria.
Basi asante sana. Thank you so much for following the conversations and the coverage on your favorite stations, that is Citizen TV, Ramogi TV and Inoro TV. And of course we are here with our colleague Ayuba Bikari, who will be later breaking down for you to understand what has transpired across the day. Back to you in studio for normal programming.
Awega Company Limited, turning tenants into landlords.
Mwaka ucio ngi ni urathirire o kiugaga ni ukugura ndume kwene
wira witu muna tuigire ni gugwethera migunda ira ina mabataro maria binadamu akoragwo akienda. Migunda itu tuna 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 nginya 500,000 na yothe iri title deed. Migunda itu yothe ni tuheaga andu mwaka umwe kuriha na deposit no 100,000 tu.
Na riu tukire na migunda Matu, Kamuru, Joska, Mala, Kantaku, Komahi na Eastern bypass. Haiya tukiogure
Neho Tuhure Dimo 0798 555 444. Awega Company Limited, turning tenants into landlords.
Regio nego kamusemanio turuhe mbeca citu na turihe mathiri ni project ire ku murona tungithi na mbere nayo ona no tugure rori ya muthanga propire tutingiaka shopping mall atumia regio nda muiga muno riu no korea kwani mao ni mutuuriku mutuo niguo moro matukaine thiko ici mwenda njeru agote kabagara de kare ai ore horerai muhe ndagika igire urecaga kabagara tuangi bana sabasi we tiko mwe kwa
Raha Premium Kavagara ni ithuĩ twĩkuo.
Tarora Otugi wa kurea unyingeheire. Tarora Niugegagia ngoro yako muthenya.
Ũngĩenda rwĩmbo rũrũ rũtuĩke rũgambi rwa thimũ yaku, hihinya *860*281# na ũririkane Inoro nĩkuo mũciĩ wa aini othe.
Rugano rugutuma urire no theke.
Nitu wakwa
Mwenge wende no mene. Rugano rwina njatukano
tora haro cia kuona ku
ungumania wiru guthianira ona mwita kunyo.
Godo no najiteta oyo
no kai gatinyiraga gatari gakunyei.
Don't dare joke with me.
Ni kanya kayoire mwaki
haya
wa mafefei kana ni wama.
I cannot return to poverty.
Ona kayoire mataro tondu kwionera no agakire kwirwo itandra na ithui thiini wa Inoro TV.
Ni muthenya umwe Karoleni kwari na mucemanio ni Kenyatta wa mwirire ni muingi wa gutuma
Kaloleni
nĩ itũũra rĩrĩ ngumo ya mwanya na rĩatũũragwo nĩ andũ megatũ hĩndĩ ya mbara ya Nyakeru. Thĩinĩ wa itũũra rĩrĩ rĩrĩa rĩrĩ mwena wa Makandara Nairobi, gũtũũraga nyũmba ĩno ya mĩcemanio ya Kaloleni ĩrĩa ĩtũirie ndemwa kwa ndemwa cia rũgano rwa njama ya kũamũrithia Mũngeretha.
Serikali ya Kenya ile ya ndani ilikuwa inakutana hapa. Kina Kenyatta wako nakutana hapa kama Legislative Council.
Kĩrĩa aingĩ matoĩ nĩ atĩ nyũmba ĩno yarĩ icirĩro rĩa bata kũrĩa atongoria airũ macemanagia gũbanga ũrĩa megũtitimũra Mũngeretha.
Na rĩrĩa rĩu monirio bendera nĩ Kenyatta, mũhano wa bendera ĩrĩa Kenyatta amonirie mũthenya ũcio mũthenya wa mbere wao kuona bendera ĩretanio nao, nĩ magĩire na ndũrũhĩ nene mũno, mainaga mũkwanjũ ũrĩa wa Kenyatta nyitaine na bendera.
Nyitanĩra na Wangari Maria wa Mũigana mũthenya wa mwambĩrĩrio mohoro-inĩ ma Inoro hwaĩ-inĩ na Inoro thaa 3 agĩtarĩria marĩa maciragĩrwo horo-inĩ ĩno riboti-inĩ ya mwanya ya Kaloleni icirĩro rĩa wĩyathi.
Ino ni ceceni ya Inoro TV.
Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kutenda haki kwa watu wote. Mtu mwenye kutenda haki, mtu mwenye kutenda haki. Na ukipenda Kenya ujitengane na mambo yenye kuvunja amani. Hatutaki matata Kenya, hatutaki matata Kenya.